First contact through crisis. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the ESS Horizon, Earth's most advanced deep space monitoring station, watching the endless dance of stars against the void. 20 years of scanning the cosmos had yielded nothing but silence from other civilizations. That changed on a quiet Thursday morning in 2157. Commander, Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cracked over the comm. Priority signal detected, non-human origin. It's a distress call. Chen was already moving, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor as she made her way to the communications hub. The signal pulsed on the main screen, its pattern unlike anything in their database. Their AI translator, ARIA, was processing the message in real time. Signal origin is the Arcturus sector, Rodriguez reported, his dark eyes fixed on the scrolling data. Approximately 47 light-years from Earth. The translated message materialized on their screens. To all spacefaring species, this is the Araxian Confederation. Our outer colonies are under attack by the Void Collective. They show no mercy, no restraint. Our defenses cannot hold. We request immediate assistance from any civilization capable of intervention. Please, help us survive. Chen's throat tightened. Humanity had long wondered about their place in the cosmos, whether they were alone. Now their first contact would be through a cry for help. Additional data packets incoming, ARIA announced. Visual feeds from Araxian colonies. The screens filled with chaos. Sleek, crystalline ships of the Araxian Defense Force shattered under the onslaught of massive obsidian vessels. Cities burned beneath orbital bombardment. The Araxians themselves were graceful, almost ethereal beings with iridescent skin and 4 arms, a species of artists and scholars, facing extinction at the hands of the Void Collective. Get me Earth Command, Chen ordered. Priority Alpha. Within hours, the United Earth Defense Council convened an emergency session. Chen presented the evidence via quantum link, her hologram standing before Earth's military leadership in their underground chamber in Geneva. Admiral Hassan looked grim as he studied the tactical data. The Void Collective's technology appears to be centuries ahead of ours. Their ships utilize dark matter drives, quantum shielding, weapons we can barely understand. With respect, Admiral, Chen countered, they've never encountered humans before. General Zhang leaned forward. Elaborate. Commander, the Araxian data shows the Void Collective relies entirely on technological superiority. They've never faced an enemy that could challenge them. This has made them rigid, predictable. Chen highlighted several tactical analyses. More importantly, they're extremely vulnerable to environmental factors. Their ships require perfect conditions to operate. A murmur ran through the council. Earth's harsh environment had forged humanity into adaptable survivors, comfortable with chaos and extreme conditions. We may not have their technology, Chen continued, but we have something they don't. The ability to function in situations they consider impossible. The Araxians' transmissions show the collective's ships avoiding stellar phenomena, magnetic storms, radiation fields, conditions our ships and crews train for regularly. Admiral Hassan's expression shifted from doubt to consideration. You're suggesting we use our primitive adaptations as an advantage. Exactly, sir. The Void Collective has forgotten what it means to struggle, to adapt. They've become dependent on their technology. But humanity. Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. We remember what it means to fight against impossible odds. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth had built its space force expecting to defend against threats like the Void Collective. Now they had a chance to prove humanity's worth to the galaxy not through conquest, but through protection. General Zhang stood. The rescue fleet will launch within 48 hours. Commander Chen, given your analysis of the situation, I'm promoting you to captain. The ESS Defender will be your flagship. Chen straightened. Thank you, sir. We won't let Earth down. As preparations began, Chen returned to the horizon to coordinate the response. Looking at the stars again, she realized everything had changed. Humanity was about to show the galaxy that being primitive had given them strengths the more advanced species had lost. The Oraxians had asked for help from any civilization capable of intervention. They were about to learn that capability came in many forms, and humanity's form had been forged in the crucible of Earth itself. "Send word to the Oraxians," Chen commanded. "Tell them help is coming. And send a message to the Void Collective too." Her voice hardened with resolve. "Tell them to prepare for something they've never encountered before, humans fighting to protect others." The rescue fleet would launch soon, carrying with it humanity's answer to the age-old question of their place among the stars. They would show the galaxy that true civilization wasn't measured by technological advancement, but by the willingness to stand up for those who couldn't defend themselves. The age of humanity's isolation was over. Their debut on a galactic stage would not be as conquerors or victims, but as protectors. The Void Collective was about to learn why Earth was classified as a death world, and why that made its children the perfect defenders of peace. The human response. The ESS Defender hung in low Earth orbit, its titanium alloy hull gleaming in the sunlight. Inside the bridge, Captain Chen watched as crews loaded the last of the experimental weapons designed specifically for this mission. The rescue fleet consisted of 30 ships, each chosen for their ability to operate in extreme conditions. "Final system check complete," reported Commander Maya Patel, Chen's second-in-command. Her hands moved across the holographic controls with practiced efficiency. "All ships report ready for deep space deployment." Chen nodded, studying the tactical display. The Oraxian data had revealed crucial weaknesses in the Void Collective's seemingly perfect technology. Their ships couldn't handle rapid environmental changes, something humans had been dealing with since they first ventured into space. "Captain," Maya called out, "Dr. Kovac requests permission to come to the bridge. Says she has something important to show you." Moments later, Dr. Elena Kovac burst onto the bridge, her gray hair escaping its usual tight bun. The chief scientist carried a small device that pulsed with an eerie blue light. "Captain, we've done it. The environmental disruptor is ready." Chen took the device, turning it over in her hands. It represented humanity's answer to the Void Collective's superior technology, not by matching their advancement, but by exploiting their weaknesses. "The principle is simple," Kovac explained, her eyes bright with excitement. "It creates a bubble of rapidly shifting conditions: temperature, pressure, gravity, electromagnetic fields. Their ships are designed to maintain perfect stability. When faced with multiple environmental changes at once, their systems overload trying to compensate." Chen finished. "How many can we deploy?" "We've manufactured enough for the entire fleet. Each ship carries 30 disruptors. Plus, we've modified our fighters to generate similar effects on a smaller scale." The bridge crew gathered around as Kovac demonstrated the device's capabilities. Chen couldn't help but smile. This was humanity at its finest, turning their own harsh experiences into an advantage. The alert chimed on the main console. Maya's expression turned serious as she read the incoming transmission. "Captain, new data from the Oraxian colonies. The Void Collective has begun systematic destruction of all resistance. She paused, swallowing hard. "They're not even taking prisoners anymore." Chen's jaw tightened. "Put it on the main screen." The footage showed Void Collective ships methodically destroying Oraxian settlements. Their black vessels moved with mechanical precision, unchallenged and unworried. They had never faced an enemy that could truly hurt them. "They've grown complacent," Chen observed. "Look at their formation. No scouts, minimal point defense. They're not even monitoring their surroundings properly." "Why would they?" Maya responded. "They've never needed to." Chen turned to address the bridge crew. "That's about to change. Humanity learned the hard way that survival means never taking anything for granted. We learn to expect the unexpected, to adapt to any situation." She gestured to the tactical display. "The Void Collective thinks they're invincible because they created perfect conditions for themselves. We're going to show them what happens when those conditions shatter." The final preparations moved quickly. Each ship in the fleet was equipped with both the new disruptors and conventional weapons. The crews had trained extensively in extreme condition scenarios, pushing themselves and their ships to the limit. Message from Earth Command. Maya announced. Final authorization received. We have green light for launch. Chen took her command chair, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity's first major interaction with alien civilizations would define their place in the galaxy for generations to come. All ships, battle formations, she ordered. Begin FTL drive spooling. We launch in 5 minutes. As the countdown began, Chen accessed her personal console and recorded a message to be sent to all ships in the fleet. This is Captain Chen. In a few minutes, we'll make our first faster-than-light jump as a fleet. We carry with us not just the hopes of Earth, but the survival of an entire civilization. The Araxians reached out for help, not knowing if anyone would answer. They're about to learn that humanity doesn't ignore calls for help. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. The Void Collective believes they've achieved perfection through technology. But perfection is a weakness. It leaves no room for growth, no capacity for adaptation. We're about to remind them that the universe is not perfect. It is harsh, chaotic, and unpredictable. And humanity, we thrive in chaos. The drive cores of 30 ships pulsed with energy as they prepared for the jump. On the Defender's bridge, Chen gave the final order. All ships, execute FTL jump. Operation Sanctuary begins now. In a flash of quantum energy, the rescue fleet vanished from Earth orbit, carrying with them humanity's response to the age-old question, what makes a civilization truly advanced? The answer they would show wasn't technology or power, but the will to use whatever strength you had to protect others. The Void Collective's perfect world was about to meet humanity's imperfect solutions, and imperfection, as Earth had learned long ago, was often the greatest strength of all. Operation Sanctuary. The human fleet emerged from FTL at the edge of the Araxian colony system, designated Hope's Landing. Captain Chen's first view of the battlefield made her blood run cold. Massive Void Collective ships hung in orbit around a once beautiful garden world, their obsidian hulls reflecting the light of the system's twin suns. Tactical analysis. Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the scene before them. 15 Void Collective capital ships, Maya reported. They're systematically stripping the planet's resources. Sensors detect multiple ground installations still active. There are survivors down there, Captain. The Defender's advanced sensors painted a grim picture. The Void Collective had established a perfect geometric pattern around the planet, each ship maintaining exact distances from the others. Their formation was mathematically precise and completely inflexible. Life signs on the surface. Chen asked. Scattered but strong. The Araxians built underground shelters. They're holding out, but life's support won't last forever. Chen studied the tactical display, a plan forming in her mind. The Void Collective's ships were indeed impressive, each one nearly 3 times the size of the Defender, bristling with weapons that could vaporize small moons. But their very perfection was their weakness. All ships, combat positions. Chen commanded. Initiate Operation Thunderclap. The human fleet split into 3 groups, each taking position near one of the system's natural hazards, the magnetic storm belt, the asteroid field, and the turbulent atmosphere of a gas giant. The Void Collective ships didn't even adjust their formation, clearly dismissing the smaller vessels as no threat. They're hailing us, Maya announced. Audio only. Put it through. A cold, artificially modulated voice filled the bridge. Primitive vessels, you have entered a Void Collective operational zone. Your technology level is insufficient for meaningful interaction. Retreat or be eliminated. Chen smiled. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We're here in response to the Araxian distress call. You are ordered to cease your attacks and withdraw from this system. Silence followed. Then, your species is unknown to us. Your ships are technologically inferior. You cannot comprehend the perfection of the collective. This is your final warning. Oh, we comprehend more than you know, Chen responded. Let me demonstrate. All ships, execute maneuver chaos. The human fleet burst into action. Ships dove into the magnetic storm, using its interference to mask their approach. Others weaved through the asteroid field, their crews well-trained in navigating hazardous conditions. The Defender led a group straight into the gas giant's upper atmosphere, riding the violent currents that would have torn apart less robust vessels. The Void Collective ships finally began to move, their perfect formation breaking up as they attempted to track threats coming from multiple directions. Their sensors, calibrated for optimal conditions, struggled to lock onto targets deliberately hiding in environmental hazards. Launch environmental disruptors, Chen ordered. Target their command and control nodes. Hundreds of small devices shot out from the human ships, each one creating bubbles of rapidly changing conditions, pockets of extreme heat next to absolute cold areas of crushing gravity beside zero zones, electromagnetic pulses that played havoc with sensitive instruments. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Void Collective ships, designed to maintain perfect internal environments, found their systems overwhelmed by multiple environmental threats. Their shields flickered as they tried to compensate for conditions that changed faster than their computers could process. They're breaking formation, Maya reported, excitement in her voice. Their targeting systems are going haywire. Chen watched as the massive ships began to move erratically, their crews clearly unused to dealing with system failures. Launch fighters, get our ground teams ready for deployment. Show them what humans can do when we're protecting something. Human fighters streak from their carrier ships, diving between the capital ships of the Void Collective. Unlike their larger cousins, these ships had been designed specifically for the mission. Small, agile, and capable of operating in conditions that would have destroyed more advanced vessels. Their shields are failing on 3 ships, Maya announced. They're trying to retreat to stable space, but our disruptors are blocking their escape routes. Chen nodded grimly. Begin rescue operations. Get those survivors out while we have them distracted. Dropships launched toward the surface, using the chaos of battle as cover. Ground teams, led by specially trained rescue units, began the dangerous work of evacuating Orcsian survivors from their underground shelters. The Void Collective's response was predictable. They attempted to restore order by applying overwhelming force. But their weapons, while powerful, required precise targeting that was impossible in the environmental chaos created by the human attack. Captain, Maya called out, we're receiving a transmission from the surface. It's the Orcsian colonial governor. The governor's hologram appeared on the bridge, his iridescent skin dulled by weeks of hiding underground. Humans of Earth, he said, his translator struggling to convey the emotion in his voice. When we sent our distress call, we never imagined. We never thought anyone would dare stand against the collective. Yet here you are, fighting in conditions we considered impossible. We're getting your people out, Chen assured him. The collective is about to learn that perfect technology doesn't always beat imperfect determination. The battle raged on, but its outcome was already clear. The Void Collective, faced with an enemy that didn't fight according to their rules, found their perfect systems falling apart one by one. Humanity's first major engagement in interstellar warfare would be remembered not for superior technology, but for the courage to use every advantage, even the harsh conditions other species feared. The breaking point. The Void Collective's response to their first defeat came swiftly and massively. 3 days after the Battle of Hope's landing, their main fleet arrived. Hundreds of capital ships filling the space around the colony world like a swarm of metal locusts. On the Defender's bridge, Captain Chen watched the tactical display with steady eyes. The evacuation wasn't complete. Thousands of Orcsians remained in the underground shelters. They needed more time. Their fleet commander is hailing us, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The image that appeared on the main screen was clearly artificial, a smooth black mask representing the collective consciousness of their enemy. "Your interference has been noted," the synthetic voice stated. "Your tactics were unexpected. This anomaly will be corrected." Chen stood from her command chair, facing the image directly. "You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? You think we're an anomaly to be corrected. We're not. We're the wake-up call you never knew you needed. Your primitive understanding is irrelevant. We have adapted our systems. Your environmental attacks will no longer be effective." "Dr. Kovac," Chen called out, "would you like to explain to our friends what we've been working on?" The chief scientist stepped forward, holding up a new device. "You see, while you were reinforcing your environmental shields, we were studying how they work. Fascinating technology, really. But like everything perfect, it has a fundamental flaw. It can only adapt to what it knows." The Void Collective's representative was silent for a moment. "Explain." "We don't need to," Chen cut in. "We'll demonstrate. All ships. Execute Operation Pandemonium." The human fleet burst into action, but this time their tactics were completely different. Instead of hiding in natural hazards, they began creating artificial ones. Dr. Kovac's new devices generated microscopic artificial singularities, tiny black holes that lasted only seconds but played havoc with space-time itself. The Void Collective ships found their perfect formations disrupted by localized gravity wells they couldn't predict. Their enhanced environmental shields, designed to handle the previous human attacks, were useless against distortions in space-time itself. "Target their command and control nodes," Chen ordered. "Show them why adapting to survive means more than just building better shields." The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. Human ships darted between the massive Void Collective vessels, using their superior maneuverability to stay inside the enemy's optimal firing solutions. Each human vessel operated independently, their crews making split-second decisions based on changing conditions. "Their formation is breaking down," Maya reported. "They're trying to establish a new attack pattern, but they can't compensate fast enough for the spatial distortions." Chen nodded grimly. "They're still thinking like a collective, trying to coordinate perfect responses across their entire fleet. They never learned to trust individual initiative." The Void Collective's attempts to counter the human tactics grew increasingly desperate. They launched waves of automated drones, only to see them fall into the artificial gravity wells. They tried to establish new defensive formations, but the constantly changing spatial geometry made mathematical precision impossible. "Captain," Maya called out, "we're detecting power fluctuations in their command ship. Their systems are overloading from trying to maintain perfect control over their entire fleet." "Now we show them what humanity does best," Chen declared. "All ships implement Chaos Protocol Delta. Every vessel acts independently. Hit them from all sides, all angles, no fixed pattern." The human fleet dissolved into apparent chaos, each ship choosing its own targets and tactics. To the Void Collective, used to perfect coordination, it must have looked like madness. But there was method in the madness. Each human crew knew their objective and trusted their training to achieve it. "Send word to the ground teams," Chen ordered. "Tell them to get ready. When their fleet breaks, we'll have our window to complete the evacuation." The breaking point came suddenly. A cascade failure in the Void Collective's command and control network spread through their perfectly synchronized ships like a virus. Vessels designed to operate as part of a perfect whole found themselves cut off, their crews unable to function without constant collective guidance. "Their fleet is falling apart," Maya announced, triumph in her voice. "Individual ships are trying to retreat, but they're colliding with each other. They never trained for independent operation." Chen opened a channel to all human ships. "This is what we prepared for. Each ship pick your targets. Protect those evacuation corridors. Show them why humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to act alone while working together." The Void Collective's mighty fleet, faced with an enemy that turned chaos itself into a weapon, began to disintegrate. Ships collided or fired on each other in their confusion. Others simply shut down, their crews paralyzed without collective guidance. Through it all, the human fleet maintained their seemingly random but perfectly coordinated assault, protecting the lanes through which the last Orcsian refugees were being evacuated to safety. The battle had become more than just a military engagement. It was a clash of philosophies. The Void Collective's pursuit of perfection through absolute control met humanity's embrace of controlled chaos and individual initiative. And in that clash, humanity's approach proved superior. Legacy of the Protectors. 1 month after the Battle of Hope's Landing, Captain Sarah Chen stood in a vast chamber aboard the Orcsian diplomatic station, New Dawn. The crystalline walls reflected the light of nearby stars, creating patterns that seemed to dance in harmony with the iridescent skin of the Orcsian representatives. The chamber was filled with delegates from 24 spacefaring species, many of whom had dismissed humanity as primitive just weeks ago. Now they watched with newfound respect as Chen approached the central podium. The Void Collective's retreat marks more than just a military victory. Chen began, her voice carrying clearly through the translator fields. It represents a fundamental shift in how we view advancement in our galaxy. The holographic displays showed footage from the battles. Human ships diving through conditions other species considered impossible, crews making split-second decisions that defied computer predictions, individual initiative combining with coordinated action to overcome supposedly superior technology. For too long, many believed that technological progression was the only measure of civilization. Chen continued. The Void Collective embodied this belief, pursuing perfect technology while forgetting the importance of adaptation and growth. Dr. Kovac stepped forward, presenting data from their encounters. Their pursuit of perfection became their greatest weakness. They couldn't comprehend an enemy that turned chaos into advantage, that thrived in conditions they considered impossible. The Orcsian High Commissioner rose, his 4 arms moving in their species' gesture of profound respect. When we sent our distress call, we hoped for aid from advanced civilizations. Instead, we received help from a species many considered primitive. The humans showed us that true advancement isn't about achieving perfection. It's about continuing to adapt, to grow, to face challenges with creativity and courage. Maya, now promoted to commander, presented the tactical analysis of the conflict. The Void Collective's technology was far superior to ours, she explained. But they had forgotten something crucial. The universe isn't perfect. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and constantly changing. Their pursuit of perfection left them vulnerable to exactly these conditions. The gathering watched as displays showed the aftermath of the conflict. The Void Collective had withdrawn to their core systems, their belief in their own perfection shattered. More importantly, they had begun to change, to question their fundamental assumptions about progress and civilization. Humanity doesn't claim to be perfect, Chen stated. Our history is filled with struggles, conflicts, and mistakes. But each challenge taught us something vital. The importance of adaptation, the strength found in diversity of thought and action, the power of individual initiative combined with collective purpose. The diplomatic station's AI compiled reports from across the galaxy. Other species, inspired by humanity's example, had begun to reconsider their own approaches to advancement. The idea that imperfection could be a strength, that adaptation was more valuable than achievement, spread rapidly. We came to the stars later than many of you, Chen acknowledged. Our technology isn't the most advanced, our ships aren't the largest, our weapons aren't the most powerful. But we brought something else, the lessons learned from evolving on a world that never stopped challenging us. The Orcsian High Commissioner activated the station's central display, showing hundreds of refugee ships safely harbored in protected systems. The humans didn't just save our people, he declared. They showed us a new way forward. Their victory wasn't just about military strength. It was about proving that true civilization isn't measured by how far you've advanced, but by how you use whatever strength you have to help others. As the gathering concluded, new alliances were formed. Human adaptability and training methods would be shared with other species, while Earth would gain access to advanced technologies, not to pursue perfection, but to have more tools for helping others. Chen's final words to the assembly would be remembered for generations. The stars taught us long ago that the universe favors adaptation over perfection. Earth's harsh conditions didn't make us primitive. They prepared us to face whatever challenges the cosmos might bring. And we choose to face those challenges not alone, but alongside any who would stand with us in protecting others. The legacy of humanity's first major interstellar conflict wasn't counted in territory gained or resources acquired, but in the fundamental shift it created in galactic society. They had proved that being classified as a death world species wasn't a mark of primitiveness, but a badge of honor. It meant you had learned to thrive in adversity, to adapt rather than stagnate, to find strength in imperfection itself. As Chen looked out at the assembled representatives, she saw not advanced or primitive species, but potential allies in facing whatever challenges the future might bring. Humanity had found its place among the stars not by achieving perfection, but by showing the galaxy that imperfection, properly embraced, could be the greatest strength of all.